From Athlone, my next guest was first elected to the Dáil in 1982. In the course of an illustrious career, she's been Minister for Public Enterprise, she's been Minister for Education, she's been Minister for Health. And after being temporarily ousted from her seat, she became leader of the Seanad. But since the last election, she's been back in the Dáil with a bang. Would you welcome, please, Mary O'Rourke? Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, you're irrepressible force of nature, I think, sometimes, and
like the volcano.
I wouldn't compare you to a volcano,
no.
in fairness. But you were out at the church gates there last Sunday. I mean, I was surprised to hear that that still went on, the church gate collection for political parties.
For all political parties.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, yeah.
And we get the permit. You know, somebody said to me, do you just put up your table and stand behind it?
Yeah.
No, the Gardaí give their permits out to anybody who wants to collect. And yes, we had our collection last Sunday.
I mean, how many masses would you have?
Well, there would have been, there's three parish churches in the town and one Franciscan church. So there's 4 churches. There'd be about, between Saturday night and Sunday, about 14 masses.
But if you were to read the papers, much less the mood, the feeling would be like if somebody from Fianna Fail came up to ask for a vote, let alone a fiver, that there'd be quite a response.
Oh, no, we don't say what money we want. No, you just stand behind the table.
Yes.
And you have your... after Christmas, I had 2 tins of biscuits, and I washed the tins and put them away and said, I'll have those for the collection.
Okay.
And then you just stand there and people pass by, and if they don't want to give, they don't want to give. And if they do, they do.
Any abuse?
No, and I went out. We had a meeting to organise it on the Friday night, and I said 4 things I wanted. I wanted we'd have lots of helpers. We'd more than enough. I wanted that it wouldn't rain. It didn't rain. I wanted that we would get no insults. There was no recorded insults. There might have been mutterings under breath, but there was no recorded insult. And I wanted... The money was incidental, but we got money. We were up on last year.
Up on last year?
Now, I know it sounds as if I'm telling sort of a Pollyanna story, but it is the truth. Yeah, I know, and I know you all wondered in Dublin, because they don't do collections in Dublin of any kind.
Right.
Sure you don't?
I don't think so. It's been a while.
Well, I know, it doesn't matter where, but they don't, I believe.
Did Brian Cowan apologise last week or thereabouts?
He did, in 7,000 words.
Yeah. Was he right to do that?
I think he was. He gave it's an explanation, defence and apology. I think he was right to put it on the record, and that's what he did. Now, I don't know if he delivered himself of the 7,000 words, but he certainly, it is there as a record.
And what was he apologising for?
Well, that he talked about the light regulation during his years, the last 4 or 5 years, before the present government, before the change. He talked of light regulation, and he talked about the tax breaks that they had gone on too long.
So things that Fianna Fáil got wrong under his watch.
Well, no, not had got wrong initially, but had gone on for too long.
Yeah. So it was a full apology. Do you think it was? Like,
I thought it was.
I got it wrong. I wish I hadn't done that, which is an apology in some ways, isn't that?
Well, sort of, yes. Yeah. I would think so. Yeah. Apart from sort of going down on one knee, which I don't think he would have been able to do anyway.
Why did they get it so wrong? Why did you get it so wrong? Do you think?
Me?
Yeah, the party.
I don't know. You see, things were going well.
I know.
And everybody was in employment.
Yes.
There were teachers for everyone. There were roads for everyone.
Yes.
Everything seemed to be forever going to be golden rainbows. Of course, it wasn't going to be. And it was built on construction, which was bound to end up. There's more houses now than anybody ever wants. In the world, in Ireland.
But it's a shame nobody had the foresight or intellect or ability to shout stop. And now we're picking up the pieces, as you know.
We are, and that collided then with a global downturn. And now that's continuing.
What do you think of Brian Cowan?
Well, I think he's good. Now, I know... I actually watched, I must tell you.
Go on.
I was in Inchydoney in Cork last year with a few friends for a weekend, and you were doing the interview with Brian Cowan.
Yes.
And I had known during the day it was going to be on. So we armed ourselves with a few drinks and went into a corner of a vast lounge and tried to pretend... I tried to pretend nobody might know me.
Yes.
But anyway, everybody was looking. And the interview went really well for both of you, that's the point.
Yes, ever the teacher, Mary, No,
but it did go well.
No, I appreciate that. No, I know. You're marking my copybook.
It was your big gig, you know, if you like. And it was also his big gig.
It was, yes.
Yeah, and I thought the two of you shaped up, marked out one another on your territory, and both... I thought equipped yourself very well.
Okay. You like him. He's desperately unpopular in the polls.
No, I'll tell you why.
Why is that?
Well, it is because he doesn't pander. too.
Yeah.
You know, people say, why doesn't he say this? Why doesn't he smile all the time? Why doesn't he, you know, do what the media would like him to do, which is give daily interviews to them like Bertie used to do.
But the media aren't the ones who are answering the polls, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
So
I know,
it's
not the
people.
polls, yes. Yeah. You see, he doesn't believe in, if he believes in a thing, he will say it in plain language.
Yeah.
And he doesn't wish to go down that path of being sweet and nice all the time.
Okay, so what you say is what you get. Okay.
Yeah.
What about Enda Kenny, future Taoiseach by all accounts?
What do you want me to say about him?
What do you think of him?
Well,
I want you to do what you've done all your life, which is speak your mind.
yeah, I think he's dull. But nice. But nice. I must tell you something, if I can share it with you and with the audience.
That's a really mean thing to say about somebody.
No, but it's the truth. He has the name. He has the name Enda, and my husband was Enda. God rest him. And whenever I meet Enda in the morning or whatever, and I say, hello, Enda, I feel a little glow, because there aren't many Endas in the world.
Yeah.
And I liked him for that. At a time when I needed it, you know.
No, I do. What you're doing there is you're giving me a hug and slapping him in the face at the same time. But, you know, to say he's dull, he has electrified, as he promised he would do, the Fine Gael party.
Yeah.
He has got them more seats in the council. The likelihood is he's going to be the next Taoiseach. You're being quite, I think you're underestimating him.
No, I'm not underestimating him. I'm quite sure he's a good organisation.
Yeah.
And he is good for organising himself. And he's when you meet him, he's cheerful, very cheerful, and always has a word with you, and you with him. All that is par for the course.
Would you say he's intellectually bright?
I don't know enough about him, but I wouldn't think that he is. But he was a teacher. He was a teacher, let's face it.
Why wouldn't you think that, though?
Well, I don't get sparks out of him, you know. He may have electrified, as you say, his party, but he doesn't exhibit that sort of electrification, for want of a better word. It's you that brought up that word now.
Yes, it is, because that's what he set out to do, and if you look at what they're doing, they certainly seem to be, they're going to be the next party of power, and not you. So he's doing something right. He is, yeah. I'm just trying to defend him against the slaps.
Of course you are. Well, no, I'm not. I'm just saying he wouldn't be the kind of... Like, let's face it, he wouldn't be the kind of guy I'd like to go out for a night with, for dinner, for a drink. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't really.
I hear you. Yeah. OK, tell me.
Oh, thanks for the clap. I really thought I had said wrong.
No. Yeah. Tell me about Enda, your husband. How many years is it since he died?
He's 9 years
9
dead.
years. Do you remember the night?
I'm only coming to. I
Are
really
you?
am.
Do you remember the night he died, Mary?
I do, because I was sitting in our living room at home. I had been out at some function Sunday afternoon. Beautiful, bright, late January day, big high sky, and you could see that there would be a spring. It was the very end of January. And I came back in and he said who had called and what he had done and all the rest of it. And then we sat down and he said, we look at the 6 o'clock news. And the 6 o'clock news rolled up. And then he said, we didn't have had our dinner. And I said, I've one of the organic chickens. I was on an organic kick.
Yes.
And I had got an organic chicken. And he said, oh, good, and will you make your own stuffing? I make stuffing. And I said, sure. And I went out into the kitchen. The living room was there and the kitchen opens off it. Yeah. And I went back into the kitchen and to put on the oven and put in the organic chicken. And I heard a sort of a muffled shout. And I said, are you all right, love? And I ran out and he was on the floor. And he went unconscious. Now, we got him as far as the matter, but he never recovered.
He never recovered.
He had a massive brain hemorrhage. The shock of that is huge. I don't have to... I mean, you had a man about his little child.
Benji.
Oh, I don't know how. I just don't know how they can live every day. Because if you lose a child, I would think somebody said in the audience to him, or maybe he said it himself, if you lose a child, you lose a bit of you.
Yes, his wife.
I think it was his wife who said it. And it is true, it must be frightful. But I mean, when you lose anyone close to you, it's terrible. It's terrible. And I go in, what I find most of all is the house on my own. And it's not a big house, a small bungalow, but you go in and there's nobody there. And so I go around turning on the radio in the bedroom and the hall and the living room so that I feel there's people around. Do you feel lonely? I do. Yeah. And when Despite having loads of friends, and you're active. Lovely family and very active. Oh, well, yeah. if you lose somebody, your partner that you're really in tune with, you actually never come to from it. A bit of it now, the real acute nature of the sorrow is moved away, but there isn't a day but I think of him.
Yeah. It's 9 years, and you say you're only coming out of it now.
Yeah, well, yes.
And even still, it's
yes, it is. But so many people lose people.
Sure.
So many people. The sorrow in people's hearts is immense.
How is Brian, your nephew, Brian Lenihan,
he's
the minister?
He's good.
You know,
now, I don't know if he's telling me he's good.
I know.
To keep me
He doesn't. Can I be very honest with you? I don't think he looks terribly well, on the news.
Well, I suppose if you were going for chemo every day and now radium every day, I don't know if you'd feel or if you'd look good either.
I'd be a bit concerned about it. I mean, what are you hearing?
He tells me he's good, and he tells his family, his immediate family, that he's managing to work through it and feeling good. Yeah.
Do you pray for him?
To the end of May. Oh, I do pray. I was thinking when the previous man was on, Joe Coleman, I do pray, and I'm not a prayer. A person who prays, we need to say. But I pray the Memorare. Do any of you say the Memorare? Do you know the Memorare? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of hands up there.
And when I wake up in the morning in the bed on my own, and I say the Memorare out loud. I like the words of it, and I say them to my ears, like for him, for Brian. Yeah. I
remember Brian's father, your brother Brian, and I remember him running for the president.
Yes,
I was in school doing reporting at the time.
I
did an interview with him on the bus, and all of them. I was like an each. But anyway, look, it doesn't matter. The point, and they were all doing it. But I remember it was a dreadful time for your family.
Yes,
do you think
for his wife and for his children?
But for reasons that we won't go into now, of course, there was rights and wrongs all around. But just to ask you about that office, would you ever consider running for president?
No, I just knew you'd say that, and I said, there's no point in prevaricating. I said, I would want to be honest with you.
Yes or no?
Okay, people have said to me, would you do it? And I've said it in the paper, but I actually don't think my personality would suit it. Because I'll tell you why. You have to. Now, Mary McAleese, I don't know how she manages it. She's marvellous.
She is.
You know, you're told, stand there, say this, don't say that.
You'd hate that.
I'd hate it.
You'd hate it.
I'd hate that part of it.
Yeah.
I'd hate the protocol of it, and I'd hate the rules that would guide you. And it's a hugely responsible job.
Would you do it if the party said, go on, the nation needs a nice figure like yourself to look after us? Would you give it a whirl anyway?
No, I'd think about it, but what would hold my hand would be the fact that I would get very annoyed with myself for being constrained in my actions and in my words and what I would say and do.
But the door is ajar.
The door is ajar.
We'll see what happens to it.
Are you liking the show? Can I ask you something?
No.
Oh, can I not?
No,
I'd say you're doing really well.
Yeah.
The show tonight was great, wasn't it? Yeah. No, really. There was such a variety of
I'll get
different
kicked in the teeth now for letting you say nice things, because you're not allowed to give compliments in Ireland. That's the problem. Now, come here. Would you ever consider? I'm not allowed to. Now I'm embarrassed saying it because I'm worried that you'll give me a clather.
I won't. No.
Would retirement ever be an issue for you?
Not yet. No.
And are you in a position to share your age with us? Or?
Of course I am.
What age?
Well, if you ask me today, I'm 72. If you ask me in just 10 days' time, I'll be 73.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, there you are.
There you go. That's your answer. OK, so there's no stopping you anyway.
No, not really. No. And do you know what keeps me going now?
On.
It's grandchildren.
Oh, lovely.
Wait till you have grandchildren.
I'm looking forward to it already.
Ryan. I mean, there's no love like a love of a grandparent for a grandchild.
Right.
I never thought. I've 6, all under 6. And, 2 families, obviously. And they, one is 7. They just light up my life. They do.
It's good.
They're drawing little paintings at school, and one of them's losing a tooth, and they're coming telling you about all this.
The proud grandmother talking.
No. Looking for the fairy money.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Mary, I have to let you go.
Why?
Because I have to go home. I'll go for a beer or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mary O'Rourke, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Nice to see you.
Sorry about that.
Don't be sorry at all. Speak your mind. Stay where you are for a minute.
Sorry, okay.
You like being told that? Sit down. Get used to it. OK, let's see who's got through to win that lovely